Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Speak to Influence podcast. I'm Karen Sachs. Tonight, we're going to be talking about something that applies to English as a second language speakers, as well as native English speakers. We're going to start with ESL speakers first. And hello, Vicki. Thank you for joining me live today. For English as a second language speakers, there is often the feeling that their accent is what is holding them back. And I want to tell you that is absolutely not true. This is not about your accent. This is about clarity. Adam, welcome. I'm glad you're joining me live tonight. This is not about your accent. It is about clarity. And clarity comes in two separate forms. The first one is your pronunciation. Now, so many times when you learn English, you learn the words, but your pronunciation is stunted because there are certain English sounds that don't exist in your native tongue. Examples would be the TH sound, like in this, that, and three. In many languages, there is no TH sound. So what you hear instead is just the T sound. So instead of this, that, and three, you get tis, tat, and tree. Well, tat and tree are real words in the English language. So it's very confusing for some people when you're talking and suddenly you're talking about a tree. The other sounds that are commonly missing are the soft I sound, like in hit, sit, fit. In some languages that don't have that soft I sound, they replace it with an E sound. So you end up with things like instead of sit, you have seat. Fit, you have feet. You can see where that can be confusing. So I highly recommend that you work on the clarity of your English by working with someone who can assist you with pronunciation. You don't want to get rid of your accent. That is not what is important here. Your accent shows that you have learned at least one more language. It is part of your personality. It's huge. So please do not feel like you need to sound American or English or Australian or wherever you're currently living. Just know that clarity is more important than eliminating your accent. Now, there is another point here that affects native English speakers as well as English as a second language speakers. It's the second part of clarity, and that has to do with the structure of your message. There are so many points that are critical when it comes to clarity with the structure of your message. And one of them, first and foremost, is to speak more slowly, especially if you have English as a second language. But even if you're a native English speaker, people who talk too fast can actually be very hard to understand. So speaking slower will benefit you. The second thing you want to do is to make sure that you're answering the question first and then explaining. So many people feel the need to answer immediately. You don't need to answer immediately. What you want to do is take just a millisecond pause to get your brain focused on what you want to say and then answer your question. And then you want to answer the question first. If someone asks you, "Are we ready for the launch?" then you don't want to say, "Well, we met last Tuesday, and at that point we realized we had to talk to accounting, and accounting recommended that we push it back a week because they found issues, etc., etc." That was not the answer to the question. The question was, do you think we need to launch? That's a yes or no question. So answer the question, no, and then give a brief explanation. We found two technical issues that are going to impact the customer experience. So I think we should push it back 2 weeks. That is the way to communicate concisely when answering a question. You want to answer the question first, then give a brief explanation. You don't want to give the entire history because the person who asked you the question doesn't care. They want useful information. The history is not useful to them. The third thing that you want to do is use point first communication. Point first communication means that you use one sentence, one idea. Keep it simple. So, for example, if you want to talk about the launch, then the point of your conversation is, I don't think we're ready to launch next week. That's the point. Start with it. Don't bury it in history. Don't ramble. So after you've shared the point, then you want to give a brief explanation. And that brief explanation is, I recommend that we take 2 weeks to fix the problem, and then we release after we know we are at 100%. And that takes us to the third point. What are the next steps? And the next step is, I recommend that we release in 2 weeks so we're 100% ready. So first point, I believe we need to delay the response. Brief explanation. We found 2 technical issues that are going to impact the customer experience. Next steps. I believe that we should push the launch back for 2 weeks, at what point we will have fixed the problems and ensure a 100% successful launch. Point, brief explanation, next steps. And finally, one thing that you need to be aware of, and this applies mostly to English as a second language speakers, but it certainly applies to native English speakers as well. What happens when you can't find the right word? What happens if someone challenges you? In both cases, the answer is the same. You want to find another way to explain it. Don't repeat it. If someone says to you, I'm sorry, I didn't understand that, repeating exactly what you said is not going to fix the problem. If they didn't understand you the first time, they're not going to understand you the second time. So instead, rephrase. If they don't understand something like, I believe that we should address recommendation B because of the customer experience. Well, someone may challenge that or say, well, I don't understand. What about the customer experience? By repeating, it will affect the customer experience, doesn't address the problem. They want more details. So rephrase. I believe that we need to address the problem first because we're having slower deliverables. That is more information. That's a rephrase. It's the same if you were English as a second language speaker and you can't find the right English word in the top of your mind. At that point, you don't have to say that word. Don't stress yourself, because when you stress yourself, you have a tendency to speak faster. You have a tendency to want to, you can fall back on pronunciation that is not accurate. So what you want to do is find a way to rephrase. Say, I'm sorry, the word I'm looking for has to do with releasing the information, releasing the program. And they may tell you, do you mean launch? Yes, launch. And if they don't do that, rolling out the program or releasing the program may be sufficient to help them understand. So you want to speak slower. You want to use point first communication, which is point, brief explanation, and next steps. And you want to make sure that you are explaining the words by rephrasing if someone questions what you are asking or saying. Hello, Monique. Well, thank you for joining me live tonight. There are many things about being a communicator that are challenging, whether you are an English as a second language speaker or a native English speaker. What you want to make sure that you do is speak clearly, whether that means working on your pronunciation or whether that means speaking with structure. The important thing is that you are clearly communicating. I would love for you to join my free school community where we can help you do that, both with free programs as well as some of the English as a second language programs that we have for pronunciation as well as executive presence. So please go to school, that's SKOOL.com, and look for Act Like a Great Communicator. It's free to join, and you'll find daily techniques to help you, as well as a free weekly masterclass on Wednesdays at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Until then, focus on speaking clearly, whether it's your pronunciation or whether it's your structure, because it will make a difference in how people understand you, how they look at you, how they trust you, and how they respect you. So, Monique, Vicky, and Adam, thank you for joining me today live. I really appreciate it. And for all of you watching the replay, I hope this was helpful, and I hope to see all of you on my free school community so you can continue to learn how to be a great communicator. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your week.